Drone connection.
Yeah, those are our targets. This is identical to the Eurocorp, as far as I can see. I have no intention of trying to kill these bastards. We just go to the elevator and that'll be it. Well, it is different. I think we're start... Yeah, and our... No? That's the missing scientist. Our group will start together instead of split around. Yeah?
Yeah.
Selected. Selected. Ready. 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 Ready.
It's sort of difficult to get all your guys in here.
Ready. Induct ready.
So,
Ready. Selected.
what? Yeah, this is identical. I'm not even gonna... so... I'm not gonna even bother separating these two missions. We basically skipped the space station part of the Eurocorp ending, but since the previous mission was so goddamn short, nothing happening, we might as well go straight for this last one. We should be attacked by the enemy at this point. If we can survive that, I think we're basically home free.
Selected.
Yeah.
Selected. Status shield. Selected. Ready.
Yeah, we missed it. That time. This isn't good enough. The problem being we basically lost a guy who had the explosives. But don't you guys have... Yeah, they have the satellite arrays.
Selected.
Yeah, it's the exact goddamn mission. These guys were easy to take out. You just need to blow up the buildings here. They are just well, they're basically just civilians.
Selected.
this is not going well at all.
Selected.
We're not nearly as vulnerable to the new grenades that I thought. And we're getting sort of stun locked.
Status shield. Selected.
We're pretty low on energy. Well, we don't have to do much here.
Ready. Clone shield.
Okay.
Selected.
What the fuck is that?
Selected.
And we didn't get... How do you use the... sludge rain? I guess the satellite rain takes up so much energy that it's not really all that good in combination with the clone shield. We might be better off with just nuking things. What the fuck is that? Holy shit. Yeah, that's a fucking mystery weapon, that is. I think I've seen it before though. Yeah, I recall that.
Graviton gun.
Graviton gun.
Ready.
You have nukes. I know
Clone shield.
the nukes are. At least you can throw the nukes with the energy you have. Might not get these guys though.
Select.
Yeah, two guys still live. Sure. What the hell am I supposed to do with you anyway? Is this weapon any good? Well, it might be good. It's certainly killing everything. We have no energy, so... And we won. So, your faith in yourself proved triumphant. You have not only thwarted the Nine's insane plan to restart the human race with clones of themselves, you have also gained possession of the most destructive weapon ever built. On Earth, the Syndicate's utopia lies in ruins. Millions hear the voice of Kopal Visik calling for reason to prevail. But let your will be done. And then we come to the ending credits again. Yeah, this is terrible. I don't want to. I don't even look at it. Yeah, Graviton gun. No. Yeah, 6.5 million to. Yeah, I don't know what that really means. Well, we're not gonna get the Graviton gun. Probably with good reason. It was amazingly good. And I think the agent that survived had the anti-energy weapon defenses, so that's the reason he survived when everyone else died. Anyway, I guess final words about the game. Both the endings are terrible, absolutely god awful. Weak ending animation and a text screen. Holy shit. You have to go really back in time to get such poor endings, but that's not what bothers me about this. The story might not be terrible in this game, but it doesn't come in the game or to the player in a very clever or interesting way. Most of the game is wasted on not knowing all that much, or getting any kind of a big picture really. It's not totally absent there. You are sort of made aware of what's happening here and there, but the overall scheme that the game pulls out of its ass at the end stretch there's nothing really to lead up to that, and it's not really fleshed out. So a lot of new information, for me at least, really came even in the final end scroll. That should not have been. It should the dramatic impact of the end annihilation of the human race doesn't come through at any point. No one really seems to react to it in any way. Um, they might as well do anything in their Moonbase for all we care. It's just one mission like the next. There's nothing really special about it. So I'm not sure how you could have done it better though with the system they have, where the only plot is told through the mission description. There's nothing for us to gain information on our own or outside the official mission briefing, so there's nothing happening in the missions that might sort of raise an eyebrow or something. So I'm not sure. If you go with a line like this, you would probably have to introduce some kind of a personalities. I mean, outside the official who gives you the mission and that official pipeline, someone else who maybe you know, who you react to, or who's there to fill in and develop further what's happening and what's happening with the missions and what's happening in the overall story. I thought it was just because initially I had the same feeling with the Eurocorp, but I thought it was mostly because it's only half the story, and when we can get to see the other half with the Church of the New Epoch, then it'll all make sense and it'll be the pieces will fit together and they'll complement each other, and then we'll see the whole picture. And that didn't really happen. It was just another unfulfilling and sort of a messed up storyline. I don't even see, well, it sort of seems like they pulled it out of their ass to have some kind of way to end the game. Because it seems like we'll start a struggle for global domination, but there's no really end game plan for that. Just kill all humans. So you can end on a climactic mission that isn't particularly climactic, and with the Eurocorp, it's well, the space station mission was probably the worst mission in the entire game. At least worst experience in the entire game. So I'm not. The game was sort of okay as far as that sort of a storyline is concerned, or maybe I'm not sure what to call it. Sort of an arc, I guess, of the overall game. I felt it was mostly okay, but it's sort of at the end it flops. The story is sort of a bleh. Are you shitting me? Destroy the entire world plot? Give me a fucking break. And the missions there were gameplay provided was pretty much one of the weakest in the entire game for a long time. So it flops there at the end, and just having the totally pointless cutscene with the text and then the ending text screen, that's just weak. It's sort of a rotten cherry at the top of that particular cake right there. So I don't know. I think this is an okay game, and most of the game is good. It's sort of weak at the start because you can't do shit and nothing interesting is happening. Then it's, I would say, quite entertaining. A lot of the from the early mid parts to the very late in the game. That's usually the interesting missions. You have a lot of weapons and gadgets at your disposal. So, and the missions are varied enough most of the time. But that's where the game is at its best, and then it sort of flops at the end with both campaigns, as far as I'm concerned. But overall, I still have a okay opinion of it. I don't feel sick of the game, but I also feel that it sort of run itself dry at this point. The new Epoch campaign didn't really provide anything new to the game. The early game was a bit different because of the differing technology tree you have access to, but otherwise I feel it's basically the same but a bit more challenging. The cheers of the new Epoch would require, feel, for you to have a better knowledge of what the game is, before you can make it work. The Eurocorp, not so much. It's more of a, if you played the game for the first time, that you can probably still make it through there. Funding problems excluding. If you don't realize how important that is and don't keep an eye out for the bank buildings, don't try to get the explosives at the early game, you might be in serious trouble. So I don't know. The challenge level is varied. Very easy missions compared to ball-bustingly hard missions. So but it's not. It's even the really tough missions are doable if you think about them for a little while. You just, what is it that you really have to do? So I wouldn't say this is an exceptionally hard mission, but there are a few tough spots that I can easily see someone struggling a bit to get over, especially depending on your technology research choices. Clone shield, I wouldn't want to play without the clone shield at the orbital elevator mission, for example. It is insanely hard because it's filled with enemies and you don't really have room to maneuver. So it would be very tedious to try to fight your way through to the center. Very time consuming even in best conditions. Doubly so with the Eurocorp because your team starts spread out all over the place. So there's a good chance you'll fudge things up somehow. On the positive side, with them you have the extra agents, so they might help with the firepower, so I don't know. It's an okay game overall, but it's definitely, I wouldn't recommend it for the plot. It's not any good. It sort of looks like it could lead to a lot of interesting things at the early on, and when additional people are brought into the game, especially Visik and the basically who's starting to try to lead the unguided to do something, but that nothing ever comes of that. And the Church of the New Epoch ends up being some kind of a retarded cartoon villain group, so it's a disappointing plot line. It had a lot more promise than it actually ends up having in the end. So gameplay is nice enough, but certainly a game filled with a lot of problems. So it depends on what you enjoy about a game. If you find this an enjoyable experience, or just an exercise in frustration. So, and that's about it.